Welcome back, everyone. My name is Alyssa, as you know, and this is Into the Heart Wild. And today I'm bringing you guys a review of a book that I just finished reading a couple days ago. So this is a self-published fantasy series, which the author reached out to me to read and review. It officially comes out on the 24th of January, so in a couple days. But that book we will be talking about today is No Heart for a Thief by James Lloyd Doolin, book 1 in the Malitu series. This was so good. I do have to say, when I initially started it, I thought I was getting a different type of story. So when reading the synopsis of the story, we are told that Kalo, who is our main character, has caused an uprising and a rebellion, and 18 years later, he's still dealing with the aftermath of his choices from when he was younger. And he meets a young girl named Tayan, who is running from, some bad guys who did a terrible thing to her and her family, and she wants vengeance. So I initially, going into this, thought this story was going to be about the relationship between Tayan and Kalo, and slowly learning the backstory of his rebellion. That's the thought process that I had when I went into this, because I feel like that's the normal way of how these things are approached when you meet a character who we know they did something in their past. It's one of those things that is kind of slowly revealed to us over the course of several books. This one took a different approach. And instead of it slowly being revealed to us what Kalo did, he instead uses his past to try and convince Tayan to not seek vengeance. And so the majority of this book is dealing with his past actions and learning his past actions and being told his story from his point of view to Tayan. So that definitely threw me off for a minute there, because I was not expecting to get the full-blown backstory presented in the way that it was presented. And initially I was like, this is so much, like, when he said he was going to tell her his story, I initially thought he was going to give her pieces of it, but then he kept going and he kept going and he kept going and he kept going, and I was like, this is a new approach for me. I don't know if other books have done this, but all the ones I have read where you have a character reflecting on their past, it's broken up in these pieces throughout a large story. But we basically get that whole first half of Kalo's life, because he's using it to try to convince Tayan to not seek vengeance. Now, I will have to say, because of that approach, I do feel like Tayan's character suffered, because she doesn't really get a chance to shine, because she's not really in a good majority of this book. The few moments where she does appear in the story, which is the beginning and then a couple of times in the middle and then towards the end, you can tell that there is thought and care put into her character, and there is the appeal for her, and I want to see what direction she goes in. But I do feel that she was kind of pushed to the side a little bit. So she's more like something to kind of look forward to if the follow-up books are going to be more based on the present than they will the past. But because of how this ended, I know that there is still more to Kalo's story about the past, because that cliffhanger, rude, okay? I'm just gonna say it now. That was so rude, because you meet just the way it happened, and the character that you meet at the end who's involved in this cliffhanger, you're like, but I just met you in the past, and this was not how you were. What is going on? Why is this happening? What happened to this friendship? So I yes, am very invested in Kalo's past. And there's still so much more of his past to explore. But I do feel like for the present, I would love for more exploration into Taeyen and seeing her kind of grow and everything. We do get to see her remark and comment on Kalo's past, and you get to see her question things. You also get to see her be like, I'm sick and tired of hearing this story. I'm going to go cause vengeance. Peace out. And you know, she's like, I don't remember how old she is. She's like 12, maybe 14. Like, she's around that age. She's young. She's little, okay? So, you know, she's very wishy-washy and everything. But I do have to say, I like that Kalo saves her and immediately is like, I can't let this girl run out and cause her life to fall down such a terrible path. So let me try and convince her not to by telling her my paths. And you're just like, that's the approach that you have decided, while also at the same time being like, let me teach you how to use your magic. Because yes, magic is a big part of this story, and I have to say, I really love the magic of this world. There's 7 spirit sisters and the Blessed Mother. I love me a good matriarch system, okay? And each sister like represents a different element. There's the wind, the mountain, shadow, flame, water, seed. I'm like, I almost forgot that one. And then, of course, the thief. And I do have to say, we saw lots of water, lots of fire. We saw lots of the seed. I think the seed is actually super gorgeous, and like the way that they work and everything. Because I do have to say, the story does very focus on, when it comes to the magic, it focuses on the seed element a lot. And I do have to say that the way it's presented and the way it's taught and just the way it's utilized is very beautiful, and I like that. And maybe it's because I'm a very nature-y kind of girl that I'm very drawn to it. But I do hope that in later books, or I hope like in later books, like we'll kind of get like more background on the other elements. Did I mention there was wind? I feel like I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I want to see like the approach to that magic user and like how they utilize their magic and like how it makes them feel and what they tend to use it for. Because like with the seed, we're definitely taught how it's very much used to help cultivate land around them. And they can use it for healing and such. I would like to see what the other elements can do besides using it as a weapon. I really hope that kind of approach comes in later on. I would also really like to see a bit more depth into the mountain, because out of all of the different spirit sister elements we got, that is the one that I am the most, I don't want to say confused, but the most like, what does that one do exactly? What do they utilize it for? How does it manifest? Like, what does it work with? Because there is a lot of depth into the magic and how it works and everything, but there are still like some questions that I have that maybe later volumes will dive into, such as the mountain and how it works and how like a user uses it, like when it's being used, what exactly happens. So unless I missed it, I don't really understand it, because like obviously I understand how water works, I understand how the wind works and the seed and the flame, you know, the shadow, and the thief obviously, but the mountain is the one where I'm kind of like, is it very earth based? Are they like earthbenders and like they move rocks and stuff? So I hope there's a bit more life brought to that particular one. So with that aside, like the whole magic aspect itself is also just very interesting, because it is being forcefully removed from the people of the land by colonizers that are coming in and are like, our one true God is actually the only one who exists, and this whole matriarch sister thing you guys got going on, no. And so there is that story going on as well. There is the colonization and the erasure of a culture and its people and the way that they have lived their life, because this other culture steps in and says, no, you're wrong. So that is the big theme that is present throughout the entire story, and what Kalo, rebels against. The thief, who, to be quite honest, when it came to the emotional connection or the emotional triggering parts for me, they involved the thief. She really, it was at that point where I was like, I like Kalo and I like Tayen, but my heart hurts for the thief. It hurts so much for the thief. And so many of the things that like were revealed at the end, I was like, oh, wait a sec, no, you're not allowed to do that, because I feel bad for this particular spirit. Like, how dare you? How dare you? So I'm definitely interested to see where that direction is going to go with these colonizers and what they're claiming about the thief. Because where it stands, I am 100% not like, no, you guys cannot say that. You're not allowed to say no. The action is amazing. It's very easy to, for the most part, they're very easy to follow along with. There was a few scenes where when a ton of magic is being used at once, I was kind of like, what is going on? Because it felt like chaos, but I think that was the point of the scene, because Kalo 18 years ago wasn't skilled in using his magic. So for it to be chaotic makes sense. And so if the goal was to make the fight scenes where he utilizes a ton of his magic to be chaotic and hard to follow along with, A+ work. If that wasn't the goal, but that's what ended up happening, A+ work again, because it's chaotic, it's a mess. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. So for me to be able to follow precisely exactly what's going on in some of these scenes where he's using an overabundance of magic, and being slightly confused about how it's happening, like, part of me is accepting of it, because I'm just like, yeah, like, it's pure chaos right now. He doesn't know what he's doing. But you do get to see a lot of the magic throughout the story. There is a lot of action within it, but there's also a lot of downtime. I will say the first, like, maybe, because this is 400 pages. Yeah, it's about 450-ish pages. The first 200 are definitely more on the slower side. The first chapter is super captivating, okay? The first chapter, it immediately sucks you in, and then it kind of immediately slows down, and you're just kind of getting the feel of everybody and learning everything, and Kalo's telling the beginning of his story, which is, it's a slower story, but there is definitely enough action to at least keep you going. And because of the magic system, there's definitely different things that you can find yourself getting captivated by. But as the story progresses, Kalo's backstory becomes more and more interesting, because it becomes more and more intricate, and you're just kind of like, when does he actually start the rebellion? Like, what does he do? What does he cause? I want to say the found family trope is in this, but it's not how everyone prefers the found family trope to be. I don't want to spoil it, but just know that it's in here, but it's not going to be one of those ones where you're like, yay, found family. It's very bittersweet. And the outcome is we'll just leave it like that. The side characters, they're all good. They're all entertaining. Jonak was a character where on one hand I was like, I like you. I don't like you. I understand you. You know, he was I feel the journey with Jonek's character was just really, really well done. The only other thing that I do hope later installments tackle is the crystals and what exactly, how they came to be. Like, I do have to say, I like the fact that you were given things, you were told things about how this world works and what's going on in this world, but you weren't given everything. So I do hope there is more explanation on some of these other elements that were introduced to us that we weren't given the full story for. So there's definitely enough in the book to where it makes you wanting to know more. But I do have to say the biggest drawing point for me going into the next book is that cliffhanger. Is like the way it ended. I was like, that's what we're doing. That's how we're ending this. That's how we're ending. And I was like, when is book 2 scheduled? Because that's rude. That's rude. It's a great cliffhanger because it's immediately made me just yearn for the second one. So I am definitely looking forward to continue with this one. There is also, I do have to say on a small side note, there is representation in this for people that are unbound by gender. And I have to say that the way the author handled a particular scene between a character who presents who as ungendered interacts with another character, I have to say I personally believe he handled it very gracefully. And it's one of those things, like when you read the scene, you're like, this was just beautifully done, because it shows how easy it is to accept someone for how they perceive themselves. And it's not hard. It's a simple question. And if they say, yeah, sure, you can do it this way, or no, I prefer this way, and you just go, okay, I respect that. And I think he handled it just so gracefully. And I like the fact that, like, these people who are, you know, unbound by a gender exist in this world. There is a lot of, because of these colonizers, though, there is hate and such in this world as well. So do look out for that. But overall, it's a great story, and I think he handles the idea of suppression, colonization, and erasure very well. So yeah, overall, amazing book. Loved it. Super excited for the next book. I'm gonna be impatient about it because that cliffhanger, guys, so unfair. But yes, definitely great. I see a lot of people already loving this. So if it is something that you have been wanting to check out, January 24th, that's when it officially drops. Go and give it a check and meet some new characters. So that is my review for No Heart for a Thief. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments, you can leave those down below, like and subscribe and all of that good stuff, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.